I've just got to stick these in. Where are you at? I'm coming. Right, I'm ready. Sorry about that, folks. What would we do without Fixodent? I forgot I was out working, so I didn't have my teeth in. And the dentist just took that, he was shaving them up, these false teeth, and they're too slack now and they fall out, so I've got to glue them up. And I just put them in there, so I'm sorry I'm late, I had to glue my teeth in. Anyway, a very, very happy St. Patrick's Day to you. Yeah, to everybody. And St. Patrick's Day today, and everybody in America is celebrating because every single human being in America is Irish, as we all know. Although the vast majority of them are not Irish, they're actually Ulster Scots or Scotch-Irish. But a lot of people don't know the difference, big difference. But anyway, it's really good to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and I don't have any problem with it. There's a lot of imbeciles who don't like it, but he's a patron saint of part of the British Isles, and he was himself a Briton, a Romano-Briton. I want to give a wee potted history lesson in a wee minute. But before I do that, I just want to read a wee tiny bit of scripture to you, and then clear a couple of things up, and then we shall continue. Wait a minute, that's not it. That's it there. Okay, I want to read you from Proverbs 27, verse 4. Wrath is cruel and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Oh, that's the worst of it, is it not? Wrath is cruel and anger is outrageous, but who can stand before envy? And that's the big thing in life. People becoming envious of other people. It's a deadly, deadly, deadly disease. So never, ever be found guilty of envy. The other things are bad enough, but envy is a killer, and it will destroy your life. So let's be content in what we've got and where we are. Amen and amen. And we know God will add his blessing to this. The public reading of his infallible, inspired, and absolutely inerrant word. Amen. And remember, like the video, click subscribe, press the bell, and comment below. Right, just before I get into this and say hello to a few people, I just want to make sure that we're all singing from the same hymn sheet. It was a very powerful message yesterday, a message very close to my heart. And a couple of people, not just one, a couple of people were taken aback by it because they've had experienced abortion in their own life. Oh yes, I've got to be careful what I'm saying because I'm on YouTube. But let me tell you, there's not a family in Britain or America that has not come into contact with abortion, including myself. I've got many members of my family who have been involved in had abortions and all the rest of it. So at no stage yesterday did I ever attack anybody who's had an abortion. But certainly the abortionists and the whole abortion industry, that was the focus. But here's my view on it, because a lot of people say these things and try and sidestep it. I don't sidestep anything. I know loads of people who have abortions and had abortions, and the majority of them are not young, vulnerable, silly girls. The majority of them are over 25 or 30 in unstable relationships, because I've been outside the clinics all my life. That's the vast majority who have abortions in this country. Now, quite a lot of young people have them, and why wouldn't they? If you're 16, you found out you're pregnant, you're a complete nervous wreck, you don't know what's happening, and every adult in your life, your parents probably, your school teacher, your nurse, your career advisor, even your minister or your priest is telling you, yeah, it's fine, everybody will understand, just go and do it. Of course young people go and do it. Then you go to the abortionists, they don't tell you what they're going to do. They don't tell you it's a living human being, they just tell you it's nothing, it's just a blob of cells, don't worry about it, and everyone will be fine. So I don't have anything but absolute sympathy for young girls who fall into this situation, absolutely. And I've counselled many of them, I've housed many of them, and I still counsel a lot of people. But when we become Christians and we know what the truth is, and Christ forgives everything. Remember, I live in Northern Ireland. Most of my friends, or a lot of my friends, not most of them, a lot of my friends are multiple killers who killed innocent people just because they were of a different religion, or they didn't go to a church that they didn't go to either. It's nonsense. And a lot of these guys now are in ministry, and they're fine Christian men and women, and they've took life. So God can forgive everything. But I think if you've been forgiven much, you normally do much, and that's the true essence. And I think this is where Protestants are very lacking, where Catholics have this notion of acts of attrition or trying to make up for things. Well, we know Christ's blood has covered everything, but we should be so grateful that God has forgiven us the most heinous things we've done. We should be like, human tornadoes. We should be like Tasmanian devils trying to show our gratitude by doing stuff to further the kingdom. That's why I'm here 15 hours a day now. 15 hours a day. And I've got a family and all the rest of it. And I'm here 6 days a week. 7 days a week. I'm actually here 7 days a week. Did you know that, brother? 7 days a week. You're here 6. You're a slacker. But you know, the last few weeks you've been here 7 days a week as well. So we're here, but I know why I do that. It's cathartic. Because I've done a lot of things in my life that I'm not very proud of, that I don't know how to reconcile with myself. I know God's forgiven me, I know that, but I still think it's a bit cheap and a bit easy to say God's forgiven me, that's it. I have to do something, an act of contrition or recompense to make up for things like this. If you go to court, a just judge can say you smashed Mrs. Johnson's windies. And you can say, I am deeply, deeply, deeply sorry for it. And the judge will say, I accept that, and you're a good person, and you've came through it, and you are forgiven. And Mrs. Johnson has forgiven you. However, there's still a broken window to be repaired. And that's what I always counsel anybody, because what I see when somebody reacts is there's still pain there. Because we live in an age also. I remember I was a minister in a church, and I used to have a lot of women coming to me who'd had abortions, and they were deeply troubled. Deeply troubled. And they would say to me about it, and I would be my usual, very rambunctious and very rough self, say, well, what have you done about it? I say, what do you mean? What have you done about it? I say, well, I don't need to do anything, God's forgiven me. I says, well, you're still not happy, because you know there's something more. And I've been punched, I've been slapped, I've been screamed at, but every single one of the women then have come back and went, you're right. Everybody else told me, don't worry about it, go away, live your life, you're fine. You know, don't worry about it. Well, I was the only person who said, no, look. And one woman in particular, I remember, I won't mention any names, of course, but she had 2 abortions, and I said, well, what I think you should do, this is my opinion, and what I think you should do is go and have another couple of babies. Very middle class, we've got 1 child, we don't want it anymore. It's not convenient. I said, we'll go and have another 2 and make it really inconvenient. Have 2, not 1, just have 2. And that'll maybe go some way towards assuaging what you feel inside. And she done that, and I've met her, and she's got another 4. And she said it was the best advice she ever gave her. Now, I can only tell you what my personal experience is, but I have no animosity towards young girls who have abortions. I believe they are the victims, they are the cannon fodder for these money-grabbing reprobates who make their living. And I remember I used to stand outside one clinic in Liverpool, where the abortionist drove a £400,000 motor vehicle and lived in a £2.5 million house. Not happy when I turned up at his door and told his wife exactly what he'd done, because his wife thought he was a neurosurgeon in Liverpool Hospital. She didn't know that he killed babies for a living. And she came from a Roman Catholic family and was absolutely horrified. And she left him. Good on you, missus. So there you go. But again, if that thing yesterday disturbed anybody, I'm here to speak to anybody, to counsel anybody, and to offer you love, compassion and support anytime. Anytime at all. I mean that. It's a difficult thing. I'm used to it even in my own family. No stranger to it, I can assure you. All right, God bless each and every one of you. Who's in here? I need to turn my phone off. I'm so disorganised today, excuse me. Okay, I'll just scroll down some of them. Bartley Burker, God bless you. Antonio Rebello, lovely to see you. Ralph Raleigh, Templar Guard, Christopher Strand. Damien Oliver, God bless you. Philip Milne. Who? Daniel Oliver. Blind. Philip Milne. Sean Smiley, Colette Whitney, lovely Colette, nice to see you here. Andy McBride, God bless you. Wes Stover, Ralph Raleigh, Donald. In fact, I maybe need to speak to Andy. Andy, I've got a couple of all these windy up clocks, and some are no chiming, and some are chiming all day and all night, and they don't chime at the right time. Don't know. Maybe I know you're into clocks. Maybe be able to help me with that. Richard Wayne, God bless you. Happy St Patrick's Day to you, Colette Whitney. Stuart Bowden. Who else we got? Paul Telford, Liverpool. How you doing, brother? Nice to see you. Donald Pollock, Troy Otto in Florida. Anthony Perez, Kit Bear, and Ernie Vero. How you doing, Ernie Vero in Ohio? I think I spoke to you the other day. God bless you. Yeah, I've seen some of them folk there. Stuart Duncan, God bless you. Scorpion, Nick Thomas, how you doing, Nick? Oh, who have we got? Margaret Watson. Margaret, how's it going? How you think? How's things? Joseph Taylor. Ryan McGinley. Ryan, I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you back. Dominic Hull, how you doing? Sam S, nice to see you. Hi. Who else have we got here? Andrew Brown. Lovely to see you. Peter Smith. Peter Smith. Aye, good stuff. Nice to see these people. I've seen that gentleman. Nice. I love Fixident. We need it, brother, at our age, don't we? We need the old Fixident. Scorpion's in the room. Oh, Scorpion's in. Be careful. Be careful what you say. I think that's about it. James Ralph, I see Nick there as well, Philip. Yeah, okay, let's crack on. So, DJ Samuel, I've seen him as well there. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Do we need to? Yes, you've all been emailed. You have to send these, like, 3 letters of your mother's maiden name, 3 letters of your father's surname, first name, and what else? Something else, is there?
3 of mother's maiden, 3 of father's first name,
yeah,
and 3 of the first 3 of the birthplace.
Right. And the first 3 letters of your birthplace. But we have emailed everybody. So, and it's a requirement.
From the first company.
That's the very first company, and we have emailed everybody for that. The second company will be emailed maybe next week, but you have to bring that in. It's part of government legislation, and we're not running some fly-by-night thing here. It's a proper company. It's got to follow government regulations and the laws laid down in the Companies Act. Our accountant is very strict on this. The Templars are very strict. We run a clean ship, so we have to have all our paperwork in order. And you have to reply with that stuff, and then we can send you your sales certificate. So come on. Very good, Scorpion. I like that. Now, Donald Pollock says he doesn't have an email. What? Has he not got an email?
Is he part of the company,
Don't know. Did you buy shares in the first company, Donald? I don't know. We'll have a look. I don't know.
It won't be coming from the KTI email.
Yeah.
KT Mining Consortium.
Yeah, it comes from KT Mining Consortium, but I don't know. We'll need to look into that. No idea about that. That's strange. Donald Pollock doesn't have an email. And you've bought shares, Donald, have you?
From company.
Yeah. We'll have to check that. All right, we'll have a look at that. I don't understand it. Anyway, we'll wait and see. Right, what we're talking about today. Now, St. Patrick's Day. Yes, St. Patrick's Day. Now, I'm going to get controversial here. St. Patrick's Day. Right, who was St. Patrick? Okay, who was St. Patrick? Do we know who he was? Well, this is who he was. He was a Romano-Briton. Probably, the strongest evidence says he was what you call now a Welshman, but a Briton. But then the Welsh lived further up the country. They lived in Strathclyde. That was a stronghold, and the Clyde estuary. So he probably came from a place called near Old Kilpatrick, which is near Dumbarton, and that was one of the main places the Irish raiders would come up the water and grab people and take them back to Ireland as slaves, and that's what happened to him. And he was in Ballymena, County Antrim, as a pig herder, as a slave. He escaped. He went away, and he came back. As a Christian to evangelise the Irish, and he came back just 7-8 miles down the road here to a place called Saul. He landed there and he died there, and he's buried there. About 7 miles from here he's buried. But all round here, and even 20 yards from where I'm sitting, our priory in our chapel there is built with stones from the abbey that was built on top of the church that St. Patrick himself built in the year 430 or thereabouts. So all round here is stuff with St. Patrick, and it's fantastic. And our good friend Sean Ahern, the Irish Patriots, they were down here yesterday doing a religious procession round the old place and the thing. We should have got a picture of that. We should have got a picture of Saul and County Down. Maybe the techie brother could grab one while I'm yabbling. It's Saul, County Down. It's a stone tower. It's a tower and all that where St. Patrick was there. It's a recreation of the church, obviously, because it's long gone. The Vikings raided this area. But all round here, we have churches and monasteries going back to the 4th century. Can you imagine that? The 4th century. And remember, the rest of Europe really didn't become Christian in places like Hungary until the year 10-something, Serbia 11-something. But we were Christians here in the 4th century. There's the old church there. That's a recreation, obviously. But there we go, with the very typical Irish tall stone tower. Okay, so that's just down there, 6-7 miles down the road here. So anybody's coming to visit the priory, you'll be able to see all that. You'll be able to see Mahee Island, where his protege formed a monastery. Absolutely stunning place. And it's just beautiful. I'll ask a techie brother, I'll bother him again. Can you get a wee picture of Mahee Island up? You know, Nendrum Monastery. Yeah. This is only 2 miles from here. You can walk to it from here, from the priory. So it's really wonderful in this area. I know it blows people's minds, and there's some really spectacular pictures of this with sunsets and all that. It does blow people's minds. There we go. It's on our thing. And this is a UNESCO site, because it's the site of the Europe's earliest tidal-powered, mill, for milling grain. There you go. Absolutely stunning. Now, we're only 2 miles from there. Where I'm filming right now, we're 2 miles from there. So when you come over to visit the Priory and the church and the Magdalen Chapel and everything, we'll go around all these places and show you. And just up the road for that is a wonderful seafood pub on an island. You go over Causeway it and you can sit outside eating the seafood when it's not raining, which is never. So they've covered it in now. But you can go to all these places when you come here and visit us. That's going to be wonderful. But St. Patrick, who was he? And a lot of people say he was Welsh. Well, it's true. He was a Romano-Briton. And the Welsh used to live up here in Strathclyde. In fact, we need to get the slide up. Maybe get the brother to put the slide up where Britain was. There we go. So, right, you see that there?
You can't.
I can't see a thing. But you'll see where the Britons lived. You see up there? Britons. Then you see the bit of Ireland in the north, Northern Ireland. If you go in a direct line across there, that's the Clyde estuary, just above the B. That's where St. Patrick was probably born. And they sailed up there, grabbed him, and then took him back to Ireland. So he's actually British. And it's very strange when you tell Irish people that, because there's a lot of animosity between some Irish people and the British. And they say it's wonderful to see you celebrating a British saint, and they don't like it. And the same token, there's a lot of people from the so-called loyalist background, especially in Scotland, who are so thick, who are so stupid, who are so uneducated. If you wish them a happy St. Patrick's Day, they get very annoyed at you and think you've joined the IRA. They've no idea that St. Patrick was from just outside Glasgow, and he was British. And it had nothing to do with Rome. Nothing to do with the Church of Rome whatsoever. This is the 4th century. The Church of Rome only took over the Celtic Church around about the 8th century when they sent over an emissary and said, you'll be under the Bishop of Rome or we will send a mighty army and destroy you. And that's what happened. And it was the conference at Whitby. And the vote to join Rome or stay independent was won by one vote. One vote. Don't forget that. The ancient Irish Celtic Church was a light unto the world. And 10 miles from here was St. Colum's Monastery, where monks left. That was their finishing school before they went to Europe to evangelise the known Western world. So Ireland was called, and Bangor, the St. Colum's Abbey in Bangor, County Down, was called the light of the world. Because this is the Dark Ages, this is the collapse of the Roman Empire. The whole of Western Europe was plunged into utter darkness and barbarism. And the only place that shone as a light to heaven, and it was not the light of education, although the education was an important thing, it was the light of God shone all across this land and lit up Europe and brought back civilization. And it was all stemmed from Ireland. St. Patrick, and then the monasteries of Iona, of Bangor, Donegal, and the monks evangelised Britain and took God's message, the true gospel of Christ, to the savages and the heathens all over Europe. It wasn't Rome that evangelised Europe. It was the monks from Ireland who evangelised Europe. Remember that, because that's true history. And you know I'm not Irish. I've no reason to promote the Irish cause, but it was Ireland who evangelised Europe, not Rome. And don't forget that. So it's a wonderful, wonderful story. And a very interesting story, but people just don't know their history nowadays. And it's very important that we know these things, because I'm ferociously proud of St. Patrick being British, and I'm ferociously proud of the Irish roots taking the message of the gospel to the 4 corners of the world. Well, at that time it was mainly Western Europe. Fantastic, and never forget it, because without people like St. Patrick, Christianity just might have been wiped out in Europe for 1,000 years, but it wasn't. So it's fantastic. I call it witness to the Scottish and the Irish are a Celtic family. We are. But I'll have a dig here at the Irish Friends. I had a big friend of mine, a good Irish friend of mine, I won't mention his name in case he's watching, but I was standing with him one day in his native County Donegal, and he said, look over there on that hill, that's where the High Kings of Ireland used to be crowned. I said, that's very nice. They're standing circles there going back 5,000 years. Now he's a Gaelic Irish, dark. I says, well, and how long has the Gaels been in the island of Ireland? 2,500 years. I went, who built those stones? I'll tell you who built these. He says, I don't know. I said, I'll tell you who built those stones. I'll tell you about them. The Cruthin, the Ulad, my people. We've been here 7,000 years. We built it. We were here. And then the Gaels came 2,500 years ago. And that's where the conflict comes from. It's not religious. It just so happens now the Gaels are Catholic and the Cruthin are Protestant. But the conflict has always been ethno, not religious. It's been religious for a wee while, 700 or 800 years, but 500 or 600 years, but no more than that. But we shouldn't have any conflict now, because we are fellow Celts. We originated as one tribe away in the east, and then we split up and we separated ourselves for about 5,000 or 7,000 years, and then we met up again in Ireland. We went up through Northern Europe, became light like me, My friends, people, same tribe, but they spent 5,000 years going the opposite way and up through Africa, up through Spain, and we arrived in Ireland. By that time, they'd picked up some dark DNA, we'd picked up some Scandal DNA, but we're the same people, we're the same tribe originally, but we've just picked up dark genes, light genes. Let's leave. Let's stop fighting each other. You know, we've got much more to fight about now than you know. We've got more that unites us than divides us. So my message today on this St Patrick's Day is Catholic and Protestant, you must unite. Irie, Gael, and Scot, you must unite. Everybody must get their act together, because let me tell you something. There's people in our country who don't give a damn if you're Catholic or Protestant. They don't give a damn if you're Gaelic or Scots or Ulad or Cruthan, whatever you want to call yourself. They don't care. They don't care. So while we are fighting and gouging at each other, they will take our country from us, and don't forget it. Right, I want to move on to something here, because I was quite disturbed the other day. Joe Biden has just announced a 1.6 or 1.9 trillion package. How is he financing that? Well, I can tell you. Now, am I going to sit here and explain to you he's come out with some amazing economic process and America's going to lead the world in technology or exports and they've took over China and Japan? No. He basically told the printing presses to print more money. Now, 1.9 of anything doesn't seem a lot, does it? It's not even 2. So 1.9 trillion or 1.6 trillion, whatever it is, doesn't seem a lot. Folks, do you understand what a trillion is? Because I didn't until I heard this, and I'm going to tell you. You don't. Because it's inconceivable for the human mind to even contemplate the sheer magnitude of a trillion. Let me tell you what a trillion is. Let's make $1 trillion into time. Let's make $1 a second, or let's divide $1 trillion into seconds, okay? Into seconds. So $1 trillion now is divided into seconds. And there's 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. $1 trillion divided into, making them into seconds of time, and you look backwards, you would be 30,000 BC. So from 30,000 BC, 32,000 years ago, until now, is a million seconds, about $1 trillion seconds. That's what $1 trillion looks like. 30,000 BC to now is $1 trillion seconds. That's a lot. That puts in it, and it struck me. I heard it the other day. I was lying in my bed, 6 in the morning, watching the news, and I thought, what? Because the guy says, you won't be able to grasp this. This is how much $1 trillion is. And I thought, 1, 2, 3. Going back to 30,000 BC, that's $1 trillion. Good grief. Good gracious. Oh my goodness. What? How can that be? This man has just told the printing presses to print nearly $2 trillion. It's pointless and it's useless. It's paper money. You know the old story you told you at school, the king with a new suit of clothes, but he's no suit of clothes on, he's butt naked. But everybody's clapping, oh, wonderful clothes, until a wee boy comes out and says, he's naked. And then everybody suddenly sees it. That's what we're happening with fiat money. It's paper. Have I got any? Let me see if I've got any. The wife's probably been in here and took them. But let's have a wee bit of a look at money. What is money? Let's have a look at it. Okay. There you go. I've got £40 on me. And in this country, we've got all different notes, because this is from the Danske Bank, an Irish bank, Danske. And this is from the Bank of England. There's a Bank of England note. Her Majesty the Queen on one side. Don't know who that other guy is on the other side. Don't know. It's plastic now. Look, I can see through it. See, it's plastic. Plastic money. But so is this one. This Irish one's plastic as well. Good grief. Anyway, it's basically a piece of plastic or paper with a nice drawing, very nice drawing of Her Majesty, and some pretty designs on it. But it's a piece of plastic. It's no different from this piece of plastic with my toothpaste, my glue in it for my teeth. It's a piece of plastic. This one's drawn on, this one isn't. How much is this worth? Nothing. How much is this actually worth? Nothing. Don't worry, I'll get that later. Do you understand? It's not worth a damn. Now, a guy, smart guy, who knows I'm not that smart, he says, I'll explain it to this, Jim. For every dollar in your pocket, and this was 2 or 3 years ago, so it's much more than this now. For every dollar in your pocket, it has already been spoken for 6,000 times. That's probably 20,000 times now. So that means the true value of $1 in your pocket is $1 divided by about 20,000 times. That's the real value of $1. Nothing. And this was years ago. He spoke to me. He said, it's been spent 6,000 times. Can you imagine such a thing? No, on our money it says this here, this piece of paper I've got, It says, I promise to pay the bearer on demand £20 of sterling silver. Sterling. So in the old days, that was worth £20. What's that? What's this? That's nearly 2 stone. £20 of sterling silver. I don't know what that's worth now. Maybe the techie man can find out. What's £20 of sterling silver worth? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? That was the true value in the old days. This was a promissory note. And by the way, do you know who more or less invented the promissory note? The Knights Templar. Because if you were going on pilgrimage, you didn't want to run about with £20 of silver on you. So you would go to the Abbey in London. How much is it worth?
$6,250 or $4,498.
So it's worth about $6,000. That's £20 of sterling. But this now is only worth, what would that buy me now? What? 3 Guinnesses? 3 pints of Guinness on St. Patrick's Day? If you're lucky. So, if you did, when you want to go to Jerusalem in pilgrimage, you're wandering all across Europe, you didn't want to be robbed. So you would get into the Templar office, say in London, and say, listen, here's £20 of silver. And they would write out a promissory note and sign it, and then maybe start to put designs on it, make it look pretty. You would have that. It's good to nobody other than you. You put it away out the way, go to Jerusalem, or Constantinople, or whatever, any place en route, and hand it in and say, can I get my money for this? They would say, yes, certainly. And they'll give you £20 of silver back, less a wee fee. And that's what I promise you. This is just a note of paper saying, we will give you this. They ain't going to give me, if I go down to the bank today with this, I can assure you, if I walk in and say, this tells me I have to get £20 sterling. Thank you very much. I won't get it. And I'll probably get banned from the bank. And I might even get locked up. They'll phone the police and say there's lunatics in here demanding £20, 2 stone of silver. Get them out. But that's incredible how we've all been conned into taking these silly bits of paper and thinking they're real money. And that is why I am now a convert to crypto money, crypto coins, because it's real. It's actually real. Now, where does it exist? Well, where does this exist? But the thing is, the government can't get their greedy hands on this. The big corporations cannot manipulate it. And we can actually mine it ourselves, and we can deal in it, and we can pay for things in it. It's no problem. So, that's the problem. So, if, we were going a bit quiet there on the crypto, because to be quite honest, we were inundated. We could not cope with it. But we're letting it slip back out now, so there's still some shares there. We'll put a wee link up. But obviously you feel the same, because I have never seen a feeding frenzy like I've seen in the last 3 weeks. It's driven this off. It's mad. It's put us upside down. And while we're doing that, the techie guys are building the rigs and doing all the rest of it. I mean, we'll maybe get some pictures tomorrow, techie guy, of the rigs working. Yeah. We've had terrible trouble with heat. We've had to punch huge holes in the walls.
We rigs on as well.
Huh?
We should have the new rigs on as well.
Yeah, we should have the new ones on. We've got new rigs as well now. So the heat's been horrible. We've had to put in 18-inch huge industrial fans to suck the air out. We've had to take glass out of windows to allow the airflow. You've no idea, but we're doing it. We're doing it, and we're mining at a fairly steady rate at the moment. We've already banked, several £1,000s in Ethereum coins, and we've only just started. We only started 2.5 weeks ago mining, but now we're really gearing up. Now we're getting into it. Now we're getting into it, folks. Very exciting. We're getting into it. So it's the time to move. And, don't be like the people, the 49ers, the gold rush in America, where a lot of folk were going to go and then never went. Don't be like me 10 years ago. I was going to get into the Bitcoin and then I never. Look, don't do that again. I would say, if anything, crypto is more valuable and more stable and safer than this. I've no doubt in saying that. I really don't. But, don't get me wrong, I've got a wee investment in, not as much as some of you guys, but, I've got a few pounds in the crypto. Now, when I cash in it, I will cash in gold. Yeah. Jim's a convert, yeah. Yeah, I'm.
It only took a few years.
It only took 10 years, everybody's screaming at me, 20 years. But anyway, I will cash that out in gold, because I'm old school, I'm old fashioned. I still don't understand this crypto, I'll never understand it. Ethereum, Bitcoin, mining, what's it all about? I don't understand it any. So, yes, I'm quite sure, I'm totally sure, totally confident I'll make money on it. But when I cash out on it, I won't be keeping, we call that thing a wallet, which I don't know what it is, and it's somewhere in the space, I don't know. No, I'll cash out in old school gold coins in my hand, in Dowson's paw, and then I'll dig a hole somewhere and bury them, and I know where they are, and that's it. And I'll tell my senior minister where it is in case I die. But that's what I'm going to do. But I'll use this mining shenanigans to make some money to keep my family safe, because you never know what's going to happen. So please take advantage of that. The link's up there. Do what you can, okay? The good news is our new book should be in probably the end of the week or next week, and then we can start getting them out to your good selves. These are still going. I'll put a link up for these. We'll still get quite a lot of these because we've got a new print run, remember, the new one. And it's got the extra pages in at the back. It's got the extra pages in at the back there. All exciting stuff. There we go. And it advertises the new book as well. It's got a Last Will and Testament thing. Where is that? Right there. Last Will and Testament in here. Yeah, it's all very exciting. And the books are going great. And as I said the other day, our Irish friends told us it's actually been made part of the curriculum with the Catholic homeschoolers now. And all I can say to that is thank God. And thank you for making it happen. Because remember, everything that happens here, don't look and go, oh, look at them, they're really good, them Templars. We're only doing what you allow us to do. We're only doing what you facilitate us to do. So thank you that those books now are part of the curriculum for a new generation in Ireland. And my goodness, Ireland needs all the help it can get, believe me. So this is what we're doing together. You might think you're coming on this channel, spending half an hour on here, big deal. No, it is a big deal. It's a real big deal because we're keeping the family together and we're all progressing and you are very generous and that money is not squandered. I don't get paid it. Techie guy doesn't get paid it. It goes into things like this and it goes into things like the chapel and the St Donard chapter house and all the rest of it. It's fantastic and I cannot thank you enough. Now, we're coming nearer time. We have... what's he saying? Beautiful place but expensive. What's beautiful? Richard James.
Oh, Scandinavia. They were talking about a tenner for a pint. Sort of.
Scandinavia? Don't talk to me about it. You know fine well I like a wee whiskey now and again. As these bottles down here at the side will show you. I do. I like a wee whiskey.
They were talking about different places. Scandinavia. Sweden was £7 a pint 9 years ago.
Well, try and get a whiskey. Try and get a whiskey or a Drambuie. I was in Sweden there last year with Mr. Griffin, visiting our Swedish friends in the house of the Swedes. The Swede Haas. Amazing. Those young guys there have built a big giant complex and it's just amazing. They're like building a commune for all their own people, Christian, and it's fantastic. But we went to the pub while we were in one of the big cities, and nice respectable place. No, nothing spectacular, but nice respectable family place establishment. And I think I got a whiskey that charged me something like 11, in my money, £11, which is about $15. And I said, no, my friend, you've obviously mixed that up. It was a glass asked for, not a bottle. He said, no, this is the price. I said, what? He says, yes, it's because alcohol is a big problem in this country, so they put the price up. Are these people all millionaires? How could you be an alcoholic in this country? How? How could you possibly be an alcoholic in that country? The price of alcohol, never seen anything like it. But there we go. Yeah, Sweden and Scandinavia, beautiful countries, but the alcohol price is mad. But worse than that, they're completely flooded by newcomers who have completely took advantage of their very liberal, very trusting ways and took great advantage of those people. And those countries now are, well, they're ruined. They're just ruined. They're just ruined, destroyed. And that's a shame, and that's a great pity. Now, after this show, 20 minutes time, I am on the British Freedom Party show with Jada Franson. Yes, please join us because there's a big announcement. I can't tell. I'm dying to tell you, but I can't tell you because it'll spoil the surprise. Big announcement. And so get yourselves over to the Jada Franson show after this at 7. I think also Niall McConnell's on the Irish Patriots at 7. Well, this is Purged, by the way, because remember, Jada has been viciously and unceremoniously booted off YouTube. So she's on Purged and only on Purged. Now, a lot of folk are saying Purged is a bit complicated and a bit peculiar. The techie guys are working on it to make it much more simple and all the rest of it. So, yeah, we're going on Purged at 7. You'll see if you go on there, you'll see the live feeds. There's Big Niall on there. But I'm on with Jada Franson of the British Freedom Party, and there's a big announcement coming. So you don't want to miss that. And I'm sure not a single woman on this feed will miss it. Because we tell women there's a big announcement, it's a secret. A woman will crawl over broken glass and red hot coals not to miss it. But I think a lot of the men are quite the same. I think a lot of the men are the same. Hold on a minute. Because I'm a Scot, I'm disturbing myself because I know there's £20 lying about here. I need to lift it up. Got it. I was getting distracted there. So that's where we are. Tomorrow we have Nick Griffin on here tomorrow. which will be very interesting as usual. So Nick's on tomorrow, and we'll be talking about more interesting stuff and all the rest of it, and see what's going on in the world, because the world is going absolutely mental. Who's that actress? I seen an American actress this morning on the news, blonde-haired, short-haired lesbian, obviously. Can't remember her name. Oh, she's some kind of activist. And they're just crazy. The women in London are turning out every single night, ranting and raving. She was in Broken Jaw, or Jawbreak, or something like that. Pretty looking girl, but pretty on the outside, not on the inside. Ugly on the inside, horrible. And yeah, so all these women are still out in London going mad. And the actual newscaster said to the Home Secretary, she said, look, you know, what's this all about, these women getting dragged away and arrested? And he said, well, legislation is you're not allowed. That looks like her. That first lassie.
This one?
Who's her?
Rose McGowan.
Rose McGowan. I'll talk about her in a minute. No, I can't, I'm late. Anyway, they said it's a law, it's a criminal offence in Britain right now to be in an assembly because of the COVID restrictions, and I don't agree with them, but that's the law. And anybody who does go out, like football fans, Glasgow Rangers won the league first time in 10 years already, they were all out, people are going getting arrested now, police are going to their doors and arresting them, and so on and so forth, and it's been happening everywhere. Anybody who turns up in a mob, you're getting arrested because you're not allowed to do this. But these women think they can do it. And not only that, they weren't peaceful protesters. They were shouting, no justice, no peace, F the police, and screaming at them, attacking them and gouging at them. So some of them get arrested, 2 got arrested, and there's all hell broke loose. This McGowan woman from America, she's on moaning about it. But anyway, the newscaster turned around to our Home Secretary and said, do you think it's appropriate for the police to be enforcing the law? I'm not joking you. That's what she said. And I thought, what? Do you think it's appropriate for the police to enforce the law? And I thought, well, the Home Secretary's got an open goal, he's just going to smash her now. He went, I'd rather not comment because there's an inquiry into that, and I'll wait to the findings of the inquiry. What? So it's not just the lefties who have lost their marbles and went completely insane. Even the Home Secretary of the Conservative Party, he's as mad. Can you believe this? Should the police enforce the law? Well, look, if you don't have a law that's enforceable, it's no law at all. If you don't have laws, you have anarchy. So these people really are going crazy, and they're now beginning to devour themselves. So, well, you know the score, folks. It's terrible. So that's all from me. I'm going to be here tomorrow, God spares me, with Mr. Nick Griffin. And remember, in 20 minutes' time, or 25 minutes, we're over there on Purged, on the Jada Franson, British Freedom Party show, and Niall McConnell's live as well. But on the British Freedom Party, there's going to be a big announcement, so don't miss it. So I'll see you over there in 20 minutes, okay? And remember, until I see you tomorrow, DV, stick close to God. You won't go far wrong. Deus Volt.